Hello everyone, this is Evan Carthy from evancarthy.com. Today we're going to look at Nvidia. They've been the talk of the stock market the past couple of days with the reportings they just did and how their guidance wasn't very good. One of the things they claimed was due to Bitcoin, which I think everyone could have seen that coming since Bitcoin isn't up, north of $10,000 anymore. The miners aren't buying out the market for graphics cards to be able to mine for Bitcoin. So I think pretty much everyone should have seen that coming for it. But I'm going to look at it through the lens of how I look at growth stocks and then look at it through my trade setups, because in the past I'd normally just jump into the stock, no big deal at all if it fit my trade style setup. But as I mentioned in a video or so ago, in a couple posts, I'm looking at now making sure it fits some parameters, that it fits aka growth stock parameter based upon some setups. So let's go take a look at it. So we're using FinViz right here. This is the free version. Doesn't cost anything for it. They've paid one, but I've never even used the paid one. So here we go. So here's a couple things that we look for. So the first thing we look for is the market cap. Is it over 300 billion? Yes, it's a huge company. It has about almost $83 billion worth of revenue. So yeah, huge. EPS growth past 5 years, is it positive? So the EPS growth past 5 years, yes, it is positive. Excuse me, yes, at 38.6%. Not a big deal there. PE ratio, we're looking for over 10. Yes, check, check, 18.96. Then sales growth past 5 years. We're looking for it north of 20. It's at 17.8. That's still good for a company with that big of a market cap, because normally looking for the smaller cap stocks, over 300 million, that's a lot easier for them to have that growth over 20%. So a company for this size getting close to 20, that's still pretty good for us. That's all right. So we're looking for a debt to equity ratio lower than 0.1%. So let's see what it is right here. So it looks like for it over here, it's 0.21%. So that isn't on the high side. If the high side considered 0.5, I mean, that may be off, but based upon what I'm looking for, it's not that bad. Of course, you'd like it to have less than 0.1, but again, company this size that does have revenue that's been coming in, having 0.2 for it, not that bad. And then the last one we're looking for is sales growth quarter over quarter. We're looking for above 5%, and yes, 20.7%. So all things considered, this is still a pretty good potential growth stock in play. Now, there's definitely some hurdles they have to overcome based upon their last reporting, but if I was looking at getting into this, not saying I'm going to get into it anytime soon. I don't have plans getting into this stock in the next 24 to 48 hours, whatever, but it is one that is on my radar right now. So it is one I could potentially purchase here in the future. So let's look at the chart and see what the technical side looks at, because on the fundamental side is really not too bad at all. It fits almost all the stuff I'm looking for what I consider to be a growth stock. So let's look and see what the charts look like. So here we have it on the daily chart right here. You can see in the past, we'll zoom out a little bit. It had the huge run up here, all the way down from 20 from December 2015. All the way close to the peak around 292, 293 of around October of 2018. So huge run up the past couple years. I'm sure the people who own shares of stock, work for the company, are extremely happy. But as you can see, it hasn't been doing too well lately. It's have a huge decline. So for the trade setup, we're going to look at it from the hourly chart rather than the daily chart, just because the daily chart, we can do it that way, but it can take a lot longer for the moves to happen. But a couple things I want to point out right here. Look right here, you have a big gap from 187 down to 175 right there. And you know how I feel about gaps. 9% of the time it's going to get filled. Another one just created from the other day from 150 down to 142. So you have two potential gaps that could get filled. huge volume bar right here on this on the selling day. So we'll see what happens the next couple days, see which confirmation happens. The MFI here, you see it was oversold, bounced up, got close to being overbought twice, started making a little divergence right there, making higher highs but a higher low on the divergence, and that came crashing down. So like I said, the MFI, I just use it as a guide to see where if price is at an overbought or oversold level. That doesn't mean I'm going to purchase there just because it says it, but it does sometimes gives a good indicator of if the stock has the potential to move the opposite direction that it has been going. Alright, so here's the 1 hour chart right here, and I already had marked up where I was looking for the pivot points to utilize the lightning trade setup right here. Here's the top pivot point right there. There's the bottom pivot point we're going to be using right there. As you see, price broke out of right there. That signaled the entry to the lightning trade. Never came up and hit the 127 Fibonacci extension level at 305. And ever since then has been pretty much going straight down, 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 down. Let's draw the 50% retracement box so we know where it broke out at, about right there. And right there. So price been going down a ton. Right now it's I mean, it's at an extremely oversold level for it to come back up and get filled for us to make some good money out of it. I'm gonna just draw the Fibonacci extensions the other way just to see what's going on. See, it came down here. There's usually some stuff going on around the 127.3. Yeah, that happened. Gave a little support, hit back. Here hit the 200. Now it's just waffling around on all that right now ever since November, it looks like, about mid-November. So right now it's at the 200% Fibonacci extension level the other way. I mean, you could right now get into it if you want to. This is what I consider what I call like a free trade, meaning your exit's going to be up here. The high X is 247, so knock it down a little bit, say 245, 244 would be your exit. So if you get right here 133, that's, I mean, there's a ton of potential room for profit. Now, could take a while for that to get hit, you know, even months, maybe even years, I don't know. But it does have the potential to provide some huge gains, assuming that the fundamentals hold up and they're able to kind of right the ship and get out of this rocky area that they're in right now. That's the big question mark. But based upon going over the growth parameters, what we looked for just a little bit ago, it looks pretty strong from that area for it. So yeah, I mean, right now if you're looking at getting into Nvidia, this could be a good area to get into, because like I said, from this current exit that still needs to get up here and get filled, it's got a ton of room to move up. The next entry level I would be looking at getting in, if I was, would be around $90. It's the 261 Fibonacci extension level right there, and then after that it's pretty much whenever, because I don't think the next one will be positive yet. 423 is negative. So I mean, it is a good risk reward area right here. There's really no risk, because the way I trade, I don't really use stop losses. It's very rarely I do use one or get out of a trade for an overall loss. It just depends on if it just totally goes bottom up for it. So yeah, so right now for Nvidia, I know things aren't sounding very good for the stock right now, but in the way I trade, that's exactly what I look for. I'm looking for stocks that have gotten beat up, have reported bad news, have gotten way oversold, and still need to come back and hit their retracement area. So yeah, Nvidia right now, if I was looking at getting into it, I would get in. Like I said, I'm going to wait a little bit just because I've gotten in some other stocks lately, and although this one does provide a really good potential reward, you know, going down to right now 133.82 all the way up to about 245. I'm gonna just hold off just for a little bit until I need to sell some other stocks when they make their moves, get a little free up capital, and then get into this, because I don't trade on margin when I trade stocks, just because a lot of the moves can take months at a time, and so there's no reason to be overextended in that. I've already played that game before, got my butt handed to me, so no margin for me. If you want to do it, that's cool, but for the way I trade, I don't do it. So that's it for Nvidia. You know, for the level it is right here, it looks like it has a ton of potential to move up for the growth parameters, growth stocks. It's pretty close to fitting what I look for in a growth stock as well, so that's another huge positive for it. So, you know, if they are a strong company, they'll recover from this, which all things said, you know, they've been the kind of the cream of the crop for the graphic chips for the past couple years. AMD's come out with some good ones recently, which is good for the overall market for a competition standpoint. But yeah, it's you know, it fits the Lightning trade setup. The growth parameters look pretty good for it. So if you are thinking about getting into it, you know, don't consider my advice to be financial advice. These are just my opinions. So they may be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, it looks pretty good. Anyways, I hope that helps. If you have any questions or anything you want me to look at, let me know. I'll be glad to do it. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.